Alright, just a few more minutes, guys. We'll have some people coming on shortly. So I just want to wait a few more minutes, give everybody enough time to get logged in here. Kills for a living. Oh my lord. What is your Discord name? Just so I know who you are. Hey, kills for a living. Give me a sound check if you would, please. Let me know mic is working fine and all that. Oreo, get down. Sound check. Somebody give me a sound check, please. We can't get started unless there's a sound check, people. Okay, thank you, Eduardo. Thank you. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started then. I just wanted to always give enough time when I load these things up for people to join. Because we got people all across the world in our group here, so just wanted to give everybody a few minutes to get logged in, and also make sure that the sound works. All right, so let's go ahead and get started today. Just to recap, just kind of look at what's going on in the market as far as altcoin dominance and altcoins, and then we'll take a look at Bitcoin and Ethereum as well. So we're just gonna run through and see what's going on. So first up, let's look at dominance. Let's check to see what the Bitcoin dominance is holding over altcoins. So overall, it looks like we're still pretty well in a downtrend on the weekly time frame. This is definitely likely to kind of bleed out going into the rest of the end of this year. So we're still on track there. So let's zoom down. Now looks like on the daily time frame, get this right here. Okay, so on the daily time frame, looks like we got a bullish divergence here forming. Our dominance looks to be catching a little bounce. Okay, so dominance here is making a lower low here at the same time. Indicators are making a higher low. Looks like we're going to get a cross here on the MACD as well. So when we're looking at this, what this means is as this goes up, we're going to see alts take a dip or pull back. However, this is of course going to be short term because you just saw the weekly still overall in a downtrend. So this is going to be a temporary pop up here. Temporary okay, there we go. A little bit better there. So now we got a nice little falling wedge here. I'd like to see dominance dig just a wee bit deeper. Alright, so I want to see dominance kind of creep down here before getting a nice good bounce, and then we'll exit alts. But it looks like we're still well within this falling wedge here. Even though the daily is getting a little pop. I'm going to get my arrow here. Alright, this music sucks. I need something different. Okay, so I want to see dominance holds here. We're sitting at 69 right now. This was great down here, reaching down into the 68s, and it looked like the downtrend was not slowing down. Now look at the rejection here off of this wick and these two high wicks that we just formed right there. Nice solid rejection. I want to see that continue, but it looks like we're going to get a little bit of a pop. We're going to get to Bitcoin in a minute. I usually do Bitcoin and Ethereum at the end. So right now we're looking at altcoin movement or whatever. Okay, so again, dominance is in a little bit of an uptrend right here, so we may see some altcoin pullbacks coming. We want to keep dominance under this level right here. Okay, so we don't want to see higher than 70 for dominance. This isn't really anything that we need to keep posting daily, although we could, because it'll give a good indication of when we need to start scaling out of alts. So if we start breaking up closer towards the higher 69 mark, we might want to get out of alts for a few days or something and see what's going on right there. So let's go check out, if I can type today. Alright, so altcoin market cap. Okay, so you can see how that dominance chart coincides with the altcoin market cap. So as the dominance chart was going up and looking for a bounce, we're seeing money start to exit altcoins. And what would be bad and what we really don't want to see is we don't want to see below this support line right here, because this would be a significant amount of money falling out of alts. Weekly is still overall in a downtrend right here, but it looks like it's trying to build a little bit of support right here. So alts, I think, are fine overall going into the rest of the year, but what we don't want to see is we don't want to see below this green box right here. We don't want to see below this last green line here for altcoin market cap. Otherwise, alts are going to bleed pretty heavy again. Okay, so let's go look at some alts real quick. Let's go see what's happening. Alright, so first up we're going to look at Phantom. Seems Binance is kind of pushing all of the new IEO coins and all of that again. So that's where the money in altcoins is right now. So we'll focus on those today. Okay, so Phantom, I think we looked at in the last live stream. Alright, so we hit a pretty heavy resistance zone right here. I think this is going to see a little bit more downside right here. Alright, so this is a pretty heavy resistance zone. You can see all these previous rejections right here and over here, and how we're matching that price right there, and once again rejected. Now if we look down here at the MACD, this is going under. We've got a little bit of a bearish histogram right there. And look at our OBV right here in a downtrend as well. So this might be the beginning of that pullback that I was just speaking of as far as dominance goes. Everything seems to be in a downtrend. Downtrend, downtrend, downtrend. At the same time, price here made a higher high, so that is a bearish divergence. Okay, so what I want to see for support to hold is we want to come back and maybe test this zone right around here at about 140. Looks like it's tried to build a nice, pretty decent support zone right there. Alright, so this is what I see for Phantom. Too many rejections up here. Don't like this. Too many failures. This is in a nice little downtrend. I want to see come back and test this support zone right here. So let's look at daily. Daily still shows to be in a pretty decent uptrend. I want to see that pullback though, because if those middle time frames start to pull back, then it's going to really drag down that daily too. Weak. Look at those wicks right there. Each of these 3 wicks make each one making a higher low than the previous. So this is a lot of rejection going on for Phantom. Everything right now looks to be in a downtrend. Look at the 4-hour about to cross under right there. Okay, so it's a no-go for me on Phantom. I'm going to wait and see how this develops. I want to see back here this 140 zone right here hold. All right, so let's roll into Harmony. Okay, so Harmony or One, this is one of the ones that we have been playing. I think a lot of us jumped in around here at 72, right here off of this wick somewhere. And I think we had a target up here that hit pretty well dead on at 84 to 85 mark. Pretty hit dead on. Look at the 2 wicks right there hitting that same point and rejecting. So 85 held as resistance. And looked like some dumping happened underneath. Also went under bear here on the MACD, OBV in a downtrend, RSI in a downtrend. This is looking very similar to Phantom here. Same divergence. Oops. Let me draw the boobs a little bit better here. Alright, whatever. Alright, so downtrend for One as well. I think I had the last update showed this this 74 area that I want to see hold for support. I may even be as inclined to say as far as 71 again to retest that wick right there. So this is the support zone that I want to see hold right here. Now this wick and this wick, these 2 wicks right here look like the bulls are really trying hard to defend this. How successful they are being right now looks to be fairly successful. But if this dumps back down to 75 again, I think the bears are just going to raid it and take over. 6-hour looks to be heading under too. I mean, it's just divergences all around here. Not divergence here on the MACD or the OBV, but you can see it there in the RSI. Here's a high, here's a lower high. At the same time, price is making a higher high there. Look at the grind on the 2-hour here, trying to just wiggle its way down. So we can also put a trend line down like that too, as price is also making a lower high here on these lower time frames. Yes, Nose, I know you're still trying to desperately get your 68s for One, but I think if it falls back that low, I think it's really just going to kill the momentum and drive. I mean, if it dipped all the way back here to 68 to retest these wicks right here and these wicks right here, I mean, if it drops all the way back down there, the bulls would have to absolutely just rocket this and put in some heavy buying pressure to keep that momentum rolling. Because I think if it drops back down here this low, it just may just sap the momentum and just wipe out the buyers. But I can certainly see this lower 70 mark definitely testing. Looks like they're still trying really, really hard to keep this above 75 here. I think 68 may be too low, but I mean, if it goes that low, hey, I'd consider buying too. Really just depends on what the order books look like at that point, to see if it's thinned out on the sell side to push it back up and cause some FOMO buying. But for now, I'm going to stick right here with this green zone and see if we test this this lower 70 mark. Okay, so moving on to the next coin, Dusk. just for the record, I know absolutely nothing at all about this coin. That is a pretty sick ass logo, though. That is crazy sick. I love that logo. But I don't know a thing about this coin, so I have no idea what it does. But it's just another one of those IEO coins that everybody is raving about. This was a monster first push off of this bottom here. So the accumulation zone was pretty obvious right here. We can see our accumulation right there. This was a pretty good first push, 22% right now. Look at the cross right here over the 200-day moving average. Here on the 4-hour, really strong move. Hitting some heavy overbought RSI pattern right there. I mean, there's a struggle right here to break this resistance right here. Let me turn off the moving averages real quick so we can look at just confluent zones. Okay, so this is a pretty heavy confluent zone right here. You can see the two wick rejections just right there at the tops of all of these candles if you cut across right there. So that's a nice confluent zone to consider a good rejection point. Don't see anything wrong on the daily and 12-hour time frames yet. However, it's got to flip this 918, 920 point right here to consider uptrend. So we got, where's my brush? Alright, so this has to come up and push a wee bit harder. This has got to at least test that upper area right there and flip that into support. Otherwise, that's going to be a pretty nasty rejection right there. Or not a nasty rejection, but a good rejection. Okay, so OBV is dropping off right here. RSI looks to be flattened out. So again, oops, didn't mean to move that. So if we hold true to this rejection right here, I want to see come back and test support right here, just a wee bit lower in the lower 800s, and flip that there. So if failure to break over 918 right here, which looks like it was pretty nasty rejection so far. Let's see if the 7-day moving, oops, not VRS. Okay, so the 7-day moving average right here hasn't quite rounded out yet. However, it's trying to peak. Let me zoom in here. And look at the candle structure right here. Now kind of holding that 7-day moving average as resistance. So it's trying to get that round out. So if the 7-day rounds out just a little bit more over the next 6 hours or so, 6 to 8 hours, this may kind of round out and hit that bottom and come back and pull back. So we want to see a good support resistance flip right here, about 800 or so, and then maybe get that second push. Hourly's still holding to the 20-day moving average there. However, again, it's just these other mid time frames that need to round out. So I'm going to hold off on dusk and see if I can't get a better entry here, because this does look like on these higher time frames to be in a pretty solid uptrend. Yeah, it came up and just really tapped into that block right there. So I want to see, I don't know, well, 813 may just be a little too low because that would push this all the way back bare. So I'm just going to see how this reacts, and then I'll just update as the day goes. However, these mid-time frames just look like that really wants to test that zone. So we can maybe even move that support up to about 840. Yeah, 830, 840, I can agree with you there. Somewhere right here in this confluent zone. Uh-oh, there's a wick right there. Where's that off? That's 830. So if we were to go right here off of the bottom of this structure, meeting all the bottoms of these candles. So we're moving up that support just a little bit. That's probably right around 830 to 840. So I can agree with that. However, most times on major pullbacks for a support resistance flip, we're going to come back and test these. We would come back and test these wicks right here. So I'm going to see how this shapes up because the high time frames look to be in an overall nice uptrend. The accumulation pattern right down here at the bottom was pretty evident. Very nice solid first push. So if we come back and we see this continue to reject and hit the support zone and catch a pop right there. But this 920 here has to break to continue the uptrend. So we got to flip that into support there. So I can agree with you there, Noza. 830 right here off of the bottoms of these here. Oops. Right there and right there. Motherfucker. Yeah. I know you just said that, fool. I'm agreeing with you. Keep your pants on, man. I'm agreeing with you here. Okay, you get your clout. Okay, so I can agree with Noza here. 830 to 840 would be a good pullback, and I want to see price consolidate there before just jumping and FOMO buying. So this would be a good confirmation right here, is if it hits some sideways accumulation and then continues the uptrend. But if it breaks below this 830, and then it could see some further downside. You never wear pants when you watch live streams. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but okay. All right, moving on. Next coin. Perlin. Another IEO that looks to have had a decent, pretty good first pop. Not a great start for Perlin here. Nice first push here, but again, let's turn off our moving averages. Accumulation pattern right there. You can see all of this accumulation going on. First nice little breakout here. Came up and tested our first level of resistance. I think this is at all-time lows right here. Yes, it is. So there's nothing to go back on. All right, so came up into this wick, test our first little confluence zone there for resistance, and here is the pullback. So now what we want to see, look where it pulled back to right here. Okay, so we got some candle tops over there. We got a wick right there. We got some confluence that stopped right there, and there's another wick right there. So this would be a relatively decent area for to catch a buy. However, I don't like the MACD. This still looks all pretty well into a downtrend. It just kind of looks ugly, really. So this has got to catch some more upside. Could possibly all the way come down here to 423. So this is going to be our support zone that we want to see hold here. Okay, so we're going to label this accumulation. We're going to call this support buy zone. Okay, and again, we're only going to buy on confirmation. So what I want to see for confirmation, in case anybody keeps wondering what that means, is if price action comes down into this zone, I want to see it hold this zone and just bounce around and consolidate before catching another push up. So for confirmation to hold, that means we don't want to see below this green line at 423. So we don't want to see support or price come back down to this zone here. Otherwise, I think that might sap the run. Oops, let me go back. We meant to look at higher time frames before moving on. Alright, so daily still looks to be in an uptrend on the MACD. However, the OBV is not. That was, look at that rejection wick on the daily candle. Ouch. So that's got to get a nice snapback real quick before the end of the day. We still got 5 hours, so it might be possible right at the buzzer. And look at the 7-day moving average right there in the green, about to cross the blue 20-day. So still could catch an end-of-day uptrend for Perlin and snap that back up. 12-hour looks to be flattening out right there. So this is what I see for Perlin. I want to see this green zone right here hold. So this would be a good dip zone for Perlin to catch a buy zone in. So as long as we stay above 420 to 430 right there, it looks pretty good. All right, let's move on to seller. All right, seller, another IEO coin. It's getting some pop. It's getting some love. So let's look at the daily. Nice uptrend on the daily. Very nice uptrend for seller. Good candles right here on the histograms. Good uptrend on the RSI. OBV with a very nice push up as well. Nice separation from the 7-day over the 20-day moving average. On its way to meet that 100-day moving average right there. Might even come up and test the top of those wicks right there. So this would be a good first resistance zone still. So it's still got a little bit of a room. So we still got, that's some pretty good profits right there. I don't think anybody's going to complain about that. So let's zoom in to see 2-hour time frame, lower time frame, see if we can't get a pullback here to get a better buy-in. Okay, so here's some good local support, right, or local resistance right here. Got a few candles pushed up above this previous wick right here. However, there is some rejection going on, so I think we might get a little low time frame pullback here. So for a pullback, I want to see probably, oh, this is another high supply coin, so this is going to be kind of tough to gauge here. All right, so about 62 right here off of this wick and this wick. Let me highlight those wicks for you right there. Okay, so I want to see some support. I want to see a low time frame pullback right here. Look at the MACD right here, getting a little overextended and catching a little bit of weakness here in the histogram right there. So I think we'll maybe catch a pullback there. And again, like all the other IEOs, there's divergences happening over price over RSI. So I think we're kind of catch some small pullbacks here for some of these IEO coins. I'm not going to buy any just yet. I'm going to see how these dips react before jumping into any. But overall, seller has a pretty strong high time frame uptrend, so it might be a good play here. That's a very strong uptrend right there on the 2-day. So this still shows some pretty good upside. I would bet 86 might be the top of this run here. We'll just kind of play that as it comes, but definitely want to see a quick pullback. I like seller more than any of the other ones that we looked at so far. Seller looks to be probably one of the stronger chart-wise so far on higher time frames. Okay, so let's go look at FET real quick then too. Okay, FET. See, this is just kind of like all the other ones. OBV downtrend. RSI downtrend. MACD downtrend. And we got price rejection. That was a great first push right there. That wick right there was incredible. Look how it pumped all the way up and tested these blocks up here. That was a great first push right there from FET. I don't think we called this down here at the bottom though, but that was a nice 50% first run there. But now we are holding rejection here under this confluent zone. Look at the rejections right there. I don't like. 3 hour going under. Look at it right there. 3 hours going under. Yep, the rejection looks a little bit more evident here on the 3 hour. Nope, I'm not drawing a cup on handle before anybody asks. I'm not sure if we should draw the curve off of this and consider that curve to be broken. Well, actually, I wonder if this could be considered a cup and handle because of this wick, and then this was the handle. That would be very, very ugly to call that. But, nah. Alright, so just regular chart-wise, let's see if we can what we can get from trend lines here. Alright, so we've got two wicks there, matches up with the bottom candles here, matches with the tops here, and look, we just got wicks just above here, but the candle bodies are still respecting that trend line, so that's a pretty good rejection point there for support. The way that this looks, this could be just a shallow, pullback, so we want to see support hold here right around 500 or just above. I think Noza's trying to counter trade me. Yes, I know. I've already said seller looks to be coming on a mid time frame pullback. And low 60s. It's right there. Noza 62. Damn, son. Alright, so we want to see support hold for FET here above 500-ish. So again, if you notice, it looks like all of these IEO coins are catching some pullbacks. And this goes back with at the beginning when we were looking at the dominance. Dominance seems to be catching a little bit of a creep up on some high time frames. So we may get some better rebuy zones on some of these IEO coins. Alright, so let's go look at Bitcoin. Alright, so we still had these falling wedges, these bear pen or bull pennants for quite some time now. We could probably even just get rid of them. I don't think we need this. We don't need this channel anymore. Probably don't need these. You know what? Let's just start from scratch. Alright, so for Bitcoin, let's look at where the support is holding right now. Alright, so you see this candle cluster right here, overall still holding this support zone right here above, right there, above this 82.65 mark. Okay, so support has found a base above all of these little confluence zones right here. This looks kind of iffy. Still overall in a downtrend, guys. When we look at the MACD, it's not showing the strength yet. OBV just rolled back over. Looks like it's going to be crossing under bear right here. I think shorts. I know I hadn't been online this morning, so I didn't get to see any action that happened last night. But as long as we stay over this, I still want to say that we're bull. However, this drop candle right here looks pretty nasty, so I wonder if this is going to hold here. 6 hours still bear. 8 hour, look, oh, there we go, right there. 8 hour looks to be crossing under right there. See how this just wants to kind of like form this little dinosaur head, this Bronchiosaurus head, and the histogram's going under. OBV is going under. Alright, price candle. Look at the price candle being pinched right here between the 7-day and the 20-day moving average. Alright, so in order for this to break, we want to see this candle break below this 20-day moving average here a little bit more. So we want to see that drop below 82.50. Bulls are trying to fight hard right there, though. I can see that candle flickering. So we want to see about a half, 0.75% dip more to break this support. But if you look on these mid time frames, we're still holding here above the 100-day moving average on medium time frames. So I would not try to short right there, because technically, look at all these candles and wicks right here still holding the same price. So technically this is still support. So if you open to short now, you basically be shorting into support. And if this did catch a pump, you'd be liquidated and shit out of luck. Oh, a lot of mixed signals going on here. So if we're still holding here above this green line, then we're bullish. I don't like, look at the price sandwiched in this confluence between the moving average. The 200-day up here and the 100-day here, and price is just stuck in this range right here. Two-day looks so far right now. Look at the MACD rounding out there, and the histogram getting bull. So high time frames, this looks to be trending bullish. There's the OBV grinding up, and look at the 7-day right here. Look at the 7-day right here. It comes down and then comes back up, and now we're holding the last 6 days worth of price action above the 7-day moving average as support. However, it doesn't look very strong just yet. This needs more buying pressure to get me convinced. I'd like to see back up to this 8,400 range to push this into a fuller body before I consider anything bull. Because look where we're rejecting right there. Okay, that wick is matching up perfectly with that wick, which is almost right in between those two candles there. So as long as we stay under the 7-day right here on the 2-day, we're bear. Price has got to get that push up. Oh, God, this is ugly. 8 hour says down, daily says up. Look, green, dark green, bullish histogram. Price action right here now pinched between the 7-day and the 20-day moving average. But if you go back to the 8 hour, it says opposite. Look at that. That's a drop candle. MACD wants to cross under there. OBV is wanting to cross back under bear too. I'm not going to trade this position here. I'm going to wait for a break in either direction here before reopening a position. So because of this, all these wicks and candle prices holding above this line here, on these micro time frames, we're bull. So this, we could still technically, if we were to redraw that bull pennant that we had, it's still a valid pennant. Okay, and if you notice, we are making lower highs on the candle structure right there too. So and you can see right here at 8,400 would be both breaking this resistance zone right here. So in order for this to be bull's got to get above 8,400 right there, because we'd be breaking this resistance that matches up all the way across here, but at the same time we'd be breaking this top trend line right here. So this is a no trade zone for me. This is too much chop. That's a very tight chop zone right there. So this is giving time for alts to play, but again, that dominance looks to be pushing up for alts. So I'm not going to open a position until, I'm not going to open a long until we get something above 8,400 there. And I'm not going to short unless we break below about 8,250-ish or so. Because if we break below 8,250, I think we're going to come back down here and test somewhere around like the 8,100s or something. Somewhere around there, about 8,100. Okay, so that's again if we break this 8,250 mark. But the bulls are fighting incredibly hard right here. So these mid time frames or these lower time frames say bull, mid time frames say bear, high time frames say bull. So I'm gonna wait to see who wins this fight, because this chop right here will screw you up. God, that's ugly. Alright, F. Why does it keep going back to this? F, still, look at that respect of the trend line of the channel there. Very nice. If you guys have any requests or questions or anything, please feel free to shoot those out there in the comments, and we can take a look at whatever coin you want to. Alright, so ETH still looks to be in a downtrend. OBV's down, RSI's down, MACD is still down. If we break this trend line here, this could react quite violently, and we'll probably come back and test support down here at the lower 170s. Ooh, let's go ahead and make a zone. Okay, so if we break 177, I would like to see support come back and test down here, because look at the candle bottoms here, all this support that is held right here, a little bit of resistance confluence here, but then you got more support zones right there. So if we break that channel, I want to see it come back down and test that green zone. Daily, 2-day, I clicked on 2-day on accident, but that's okay. It just looks all around ugly for ETH. Looks to be in the same boat as Bitcoin. These high time frames are showing too much indecision. Looks like the lower time frames are going to be the deciding factor here. So if we were to just draw a bigger channel, an expanded wedge or expanded channel or something. I don't know what that is. So for that's for you Elliott Wave people who have the expanding channels or whatnot. I'm not sure if Satoshi's got this already marked out. I mean, it just doesn't look good on the daily either. Your OBV is already under bear. So they would have to come back down and test this support zone here to see if this is going to continue the uptrend, to test that upper channel again. Otherwise, this could just... this could go on a bear raid and break that channel and just snake its way back down, which would be probably catastrophic for ETH. This is not a good live stream, guys. I'm seeing too much indecision between Bitcoin and ETH. Altcoins look a little more obvious, though. Okay, so this is what I see for ETH, though. This is really just what it's showing me. We're still overall in a downtrend. We are respecting the channel. However, I don't like it. If we break this channel, we're going to come down and test some support zones. Breaking this at the 168 mark at a low of 168 would probably be the nail in the coffin for ETH, and ETH could probably drop pretty significantly. We might all the way drop back down to 164. This has turned out to be an ugly weekend for crypto. So let me just run through here, see if there's any last notes. I mean, everything is still kind of... Oh, the seller just went bear on that candle there. Perlin still doing its thing. Dusk still doing its thing. That looks to be crossing under. Harmony now at 76. It was at 77 a minute ago. All still to be pretty well playing out so far. Yeah, I mean, that's what I see, guys. I mean, this is not a great... Oh, ooh, that was a nice wick right there in the last, like, 30 seconds. Nice little wick right there for ETH. DGB. Yeah, we can look at DGB. Digibyte. Isn't Digibyte the one that always like counters what Bitcoin is doing and never really cares? However, this is a very... Ooh, wow. Look at the overall chart of Digibyte. Man, this thing has been around forever. Since going on 5 years now. Alright, so right off the bat, we see this. And we see this. So Digibyte looks to be in an uptrend. However, we are topping out here on the RSI. You can already see that. Let's see if it looks decent on the weekly at least. Yeah, weekly looks pretty decent. Not too bad. OBV's in an uptrend. MACD's already bull. RSI is creeping up. Looks like the price action is creeping up. Probably come back up and test this block up here. I would expect DGB to still respect this wedge that it's been in for well over a year now. So I wouldn't expect anything higher than about 219, 220. We could probably even say it's going to come up and tap the bottom of that block at 250. That might get a wick just outside of that. So I would play this right here first up to about 190, 180, 190. I mean, that's still pretty significant profit. Now, again, this is on a weekly chart, so take that into consideration. I mean, that could take, 2 weeks to play out or so. But I would still expect it to remain under this trend right here. But the weekly looks to be in a nice uptrend. If we go to other high time frames, I'm assuming you're swinging it. So this is going to be the booger right here. This zone that it's in right here, testing right here. See all this? This is a very tight group cluster right there. So it's got to get above this. It's got to get above 110 and flip that into support in order to come up here and test these previous area up here between 170. We'll say 170 and 190. So we're going to call this local resistance. And we're going to call this target. Okay, so again, it's got to get over 110. It's got to break 110, 111. Otherwise, if it fails to break this local resistance zone, then it's going to fall back. So if it fails to break and it falls back, it'll probably come back down here to about 87 or so. What do you mean you were on delay? All right, so if, I mean, not a great live stream, guys. And of course, I mean, we're just kind of just checking out to see what's going on in the market. And it looks like most everything is trying to hit some pullbacks going into the rest of this weekend, towards the end of the weekend, which could prove to maybe not be so great rolling into Monday. Oh, good job. You paused the live stream. Yep, so this is what the weekend looks like. It doesn't look like we're going to get much play out of much of anything, especially the IEO coins. They look to be pulling back now. I haven't. We can maybe scan later in the day to see if any of the OG coins, like Wave, Stratus, Aeon, or something. We can maybe scan those later and see if any of those show any kind of promise or whatever. But right now, as it stands, as I'm seeing it. Just not much going on the weekend. ADX. Damn, bro. All right, I heard you the first, like, 17 times. Okay, so ADX does look good. So this is what we want to see when we were looking at some of those IEO coins that I showed. Strong first pushes, very strong pullback, and we want to see support resistance flips here. Look where ADX found support. Right there meeting that candle structure there. You can see how the support met up right there. And also those two wicks right there. So this is a pretty good pullback for a support resistance flip. And this is what we want to see on some of those IEO coins. So this looks to be in an uptrend for the most part. Daily looks pretty good. Very strong weekly. That's a heck of a wick right there for a weekly candle. And look how it came back down. Let me move this right there. Almost touched that 7-day moving average. But look how it came down, and right in between these two candles and that wick we've already pointed out. So it's not shabby. We'll see how this shapes up on the next weekly candle, but I would suspect it to be bullish. For a target, knows I'm sure you've already got one or whatever because you live off of VRS now. I think that might be a wee bit high, but then again, this is crypto. Who knows? Actually, let me see. ADX coin. All right, so it's a low market cap coin and a low supply coin. So I mean, it certainly would be relatively easy to pump this thing 100% or so. Weekly on Phalanx, you say? I mean, yeah, weekly Phalanx has got the buy signal. It gave the buy signal back here about a month ago in early September, and then two bullish divergence strong buy signals, bullish divergent signals. It don't matter either way. Two very strong buy signals here. So this is all good buy signals there. VRS. All of these are buy signals here, so I mean it's still. I mean it's in a strong uptrend, sure. I mean, yeah, I agree. This has got. Well, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to close green on the weekly by tomorrow, as long as the next weekly candle could still push bull. So you could still maybe see a wee bit of a pullback. But look at the support here with the moving average. So we held very nicely over the 100-day moving average for the last 4 days. So the overall structure is intact and is bull. That doesn't mean we might not see a little bit more pullback, some maybe. So for this to continue the uptrend breakout, it's got to flip over here, which looks like it just rejected off of. Or it could come up and then do another pullback to retest that support and then pop. Those are going to go crazy over here buying every single pullback. He might be holding bags for a few weeks. He might be the ultimate swing trader. So yeah, ADX looks fine. See the rejections right there. It's got to get over this 1038 mark, 1040 mark or whatever to continue the uptrend. Otherwise, it could catch another pullback sub 1,000. Maybe catch a better buy zone. All right, so I mean that's it, guys. I mean, it's the weekend. Not seeing a whole lot of movement really across the board for altcoins. Most are pulling back, trying to pull back. Dusk is kind of fighting both directions here. I don't think this is quite done yet. This could catch. I'm not going to catch this for a scalp either because this could just come up but still stay under the rejection point before rolling over and come back down. So I'm not going to touch dusk until it breaks 918, 920 mark. Because that's a 3% pop. Even with 4x, it's 12%. But I'd like to catch bigger swings for that. So that's it, guys. I mean that's all I see. I mean, a slow born weekend across the board. Most showing pullbacks across the board too. So I wouldn't jump into anything and get too carried away. Nano looks to be holding up pretty well. If anybody was jumping in the Nano call or looking at Nano, here's the 4 hour, still holding right here above the 100-day moving average. So it should stay above 900. 900 would be above the 20-day moving average there. So this is an OG coin. I mean, the weekly still looks pretty strong. If we were to go back to invite only and put Phalanx on, Phalanx gives a buy signal back here, also at the end of September. So this one's almost ready. Looks like maybe end of next week. Maybe Nano can catch a nice pop. Gonna give this a few more days. 2 week here. Look at all the candle structure holding under the 7-day as resistance. So unless we start getting even just a wick, I want to see a wick start getting above the 7-day here to start taking out some resistance, and then this could catch a good upswing. But if you look at the overall chart, Here we are back in March of last year that Nano had its last good upswing pop, and now you see a nice 2-week green bullish candle showing up. So give this another week, maybe a few more days. I think Nano could catch a pretty nice reversal there. Look at the OBV also going trending up bullish too. So give this some time here, and I think Nano could catch a good reversal. So for a lot of these OG coins, we're still a week or two away. Looks like Binance is just pumping the IEO coins. But that's what I see. It looks like a boring weekend. I wouldn't get too carried away trying to buy anything. Go enjoy some sun, lift some weights, go on a run, catch some fresh air or something. I don't think we're going to miss too much over the weekend. So that's what I see, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll post these charts to get them out there, and then we'll go from there. So if you guys don't have any other questions, I'm going to hop off here, and I'm going to go take a nap and then go back to the gym because I'm not looking too healthy right now. I got to lose some weight. Okay, I don't see anybody throwing out any requests or anything, so we'll call that a day. Thanks, guys.